Here we are, episode 7. Almost 1,000.
Almost famous.
Oh, let's get right into the movie. We'll do a little. This week's movie's Almost Famous, but gonna do a little intro. Got back my black cast.
Back in it. Me and Nate both signed it with gold Sharpie.
Yeah. I went to the doctor today and I passed out. It was a crazy experience, but
glad it wasn't me.
Yeah,
I'm glad it wasn't me either. I don't know what I would do.
You should smile.
Have you passed out before? Have you fainted?
Yeah, baseball, right? Didn't you faint one time in baseball?
Oh yeah, and I fainted after you threw a brick at my head.
I fainted one time.
I've been fainted twice after you threw the brick in my head.
I remember it happened, and then I think you got up and you went back down.
And then after I went and got my stitches, got a water from a tiny one.
That's a whole other story. You ever heard that story before?
I didn't know you all throwing bricks at each other.
Well, we weren't mean it. I mean, like...
It's back when JC used to wear Sambas.
Yeah, I had these Adidas Sambas. They were badass.
Oh, okay, Sambas.
Yeah, and he would kick soccer ball into a brick wall. And then he got stuck in a tree, and there was these loose bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, Colin, let me run out from under the tree before you throw it.
Just threw it.
I'm running. Boom! I
hits him square in the top of his head.
Yeah, I tried to make a joke out of it too. I'm like, ow, that hurt. Like standing back up, and I just go down.
Going right back
down.
down.
And then the blood rolls over my eye.
I get stitches like that. Not a brick, it was a rock. But we were both throwing rocks. He went out to get a rock, like where we were throwing them. I didn't think I'd hit him.
Beeline straight for his
He got stitches
cranium.
in his head. Yeah.
He got staples.
Yeah.
Staples were gnarly. I remember looking at those things. I was like, brother.
I showered and I got out and I passed out again. But I threw a rock at this girl named Vivian once in elementary school. It was just a pebble. I didn't mean to hit her, but it did.
Shouts out Vivian.
Shouts out, or we don't like her because we'll throwing rocks at her?
No, shouts out. We
love Vivian.
She was a great girl.
We should find her, bring her on.
Yeah, she was almost famous. Speaking of almost famous.
Speaking of,
that's today's film that we're reviewing. 2000 classic.
Yeah.
Starring
Billy Crudup, Kate Hudson,
Jason Lee.
Jason
I love Jason Lee,
dude.
Oh,
Philip
awesome.
Seymour Hoffman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every single movie I see him in, he's great. He
man.
climbs on my favorite actors list. Every single movie.
He's pretty good.
He's great.
What did we
Fallon.
watch? Jimmy
Fallon. Oh, I did not even recognize
And
that.
Patrick, what's his last name? Is the main character?
I don't know.
Patrick something.
That guy freaks me out.
Patrick Gaynor or something like that.
Which guy?
William Miller.
He freaks you out?
Yeah, that actor, dude.
Really?
See, I think. But him. What's the kid? Like the kid that played him.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know, but I love him. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, I love that kid. He's in so many, so much fun stuff.
11?
Patrick.
11? Yeah, that was
Fugit. What's his name?
Fuck it.
11?
Is that F-U-G-I-T?
Yes.
Fuck it. That's so good.
And the young kid's name is Michael Angarano.
Yeah, see what else?
Yeah, he's in Sky High.
Sky High.
Lords of Dogtown.
Yeah, he is the.
Yeah, he's in Lords of Dogtown. He's awesome.
He's also I think he's a Disney Channel actor. Like he's in a couple of Disney things.
Dude, Sky High was the best. I remember watching that, dude.
Kurt Russell's in that. Isn't that insane?
Kurt Russell's this guy. Yeah,
he's the dad.
The superhero dad.
Yes, and what's Mary Elizabeth Winstead from Scott Pilgrim? She's in Sky High.
Is the mom?
No, she's the bad guy. He's a supervillain.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
You never watched Sky High?
Mm-mm.
It's a great little Disney Channel movie.
Oh my god.
Is that the Halloween one?
So
no,
much
it's like a superhero themed.
Halloween Town's awesome.
I was watching Phineas and Ferb.
No. You got the old live action Disney movies, dude. Those were so much fun. Sky High, Camp Rock, Halloween Town.
Camp Rock was alright.
Lemonade
Mouth.
Let It Shine.
Lemonade Mouth, Let It Shine. All of that, dude. Those are. Did you guys ever watch Rags? It was Nickelodeon. It was like it came out. It came out at the same time as Let It Shine.
Really?
Not Keke Palmer, but the girl that looks a lot like Keke Palmer's in it.
My Babysitter's a Vampire.
My Babysitter's a Vampire. She was freaking.
Was that the girl or no?
No. It's gonna annoy me.
What was the one with Ross Lynch? Who's Ross Lynch coming to town?
Austin Alley.
No, not his show, but the movie he was in.
Teen Beach Movie.
That was solid too.
Yeah.
That was like towards the end of me watching Disney Channel, but that was good.
Yeah, I would rerun that.
I would watch it again.
Never mind. Rags is Keke Palmer.
Well, there we go.
And then a bunch of randos. Oh, Max Schneider. He's actually a musical artist now.
Really?
And like one of these artists that made it out of Disney Channel. And he has a song that's like really turn the lights down low.
Can't say I have.
What?
No.
You guys don't listen to pop radio, clearly, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever. Big deal.
All right.
Anyway,
Should we get into the movie?
I do want to get into the movie.
How about the movie opening up
with
Alvin and
Jason Lee in the movie, dude. That's what I wanted to say, dude.
Okay, well, what do y'all know? What do y'all know Jason Lee from?
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
That's it.
That's
Do you know anything else?
Dude, no. Jason Lee, like Alvin and the Chipmunks. I mean, I'm sure if you told me some stuff,
Okay.
I'd be like, oh yeah.
In The Incredibles, he's the little guy with the red hair with
Syndrome.
He is Syndrome. Yeah, that's his name.
Okay.
He's Syndrome in Incredibles. He is also he was in his big show on TV was My Name is Earl, which is a comedy.
I've seen that
Very
before.
funny. I've seen a couple seasons of it. I didn't finish it.
Is it one of the
was a funny
HBO
show.
or the FX shows? It's one of the two, right?
I think it's HBO.
HBO.
He's also in Vanilla Sky.
Haven't seen it. It's Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, it's a weird movie. Chasing Amy. It's a comedy. He has a bunch
of small roles.
Yes,
too,
a bunch of
doesn't he?
small roles. He is like a kind of a unique comedy actor.
It's gotta be his best film.
I don't know if he ever did stand up, but I feel like most of his movies are comedies.
I feel like it's gotta be his best performance, right?
For sure.
I mean, that I've
Monster House. You ever seen Monster House?
I've never
before?
seen Monster House.
years ago.
Bro, that movie scared me as
A
a
guy
child.
thing. I
All
saw
right,
that.
we need to revert from this podcast talking about other movies,
Really?
other actors.
That's like my favorite part of this podcast.
Yeah, me too.
It's like mentioning other.
Like
Maybe.
movies.
Well, yeah,
Like
but
going down
but
a
we haven't
rabbit
even
hole.
gotten into the name.
Okay, we'll get into Almost Famous. Let's go.
All right. So yeah, starting off, Christmas time in San Diego, Christmas time.
What's the mom's name?
Marjorie or Miss Martin?
Seems like Marjorie.
Marjorie. What's the actress's name? I mean,
Frances
McDormand.
McDormand.
Yeah,
Frances.
she's
McDormand.
really good too.
She's a great actress.
Yeah, she doesn't get.
Her name's
enough credit.
Elaine.
Elaine.
Yeah, that's right. So
Scary lady.
she reminds me a lot of my aunt.
Libby.
No.
It's a very well-written character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
she is
every character is a
fun.
well-written character because Cameron Crowe, this was his life.
Yeah.
And these are real people that he knew.
Well, and he's also a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the writing was so good. I love it's not too much. It's it could very easily been overdone.
Absolutely.
But I think for the time in the '60s, it's really really good.
Have you watched
This was the
Cameron Crowe?
60s?
Late 70s.
Well,
72.
When he was younger, it was in the 60s, and then when he got to the age he was most of the movie, it was 73.
Yeah.
But have you ever watched Cameron Crowe talk about this movie?
No, but I've
You should totally go on YouTube and just look up Cameron Crowe, Almost Famous, and just list of like interviews talking about it. He's like Quentin Tarantino with his movies.
Right.
Like he loves it.
Really?
Like he fanboys over his own movie, which is awesome, I think. Just because
That's
like
pretty
you can
cool.
tell he just like lives and breathes.
Well, he
what
lived the
Yeah,
craziest
he lived this life. You know, he is William Miller. It's
Yeah.
the little story of his childhood.
Yeah.
So really awesome. It's a passion project.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh,
most
definitely.
ultimate definition of a
And
passion project.
Especially the extended cut, which we all watched. That had take so long to write.
What was left out? Like what's in just the 2-hour version?
Just the 2-hour, there was no interview with the bassist and the drummer. There's no Penny's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I know. Is like I did not see this the first
No
time.
Penny's birthday. When they were walking around in Central Park, it's extended.
Really?
The party scene, the high school party scene is extended.
Bro, that was fun. That was really fun.
That's Dazing Confused for 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can't remember what else. There a lot of like scenes are just dragged out a little longer.
Okay.
And I will say this: it made Russell Hammond look like way worse of a person than it did in the 2-hour version.
Okay.
Just because he's declining his interview more blatantly, I think.
Yeah.
And in the 2-hour version, it's like, oh, he's trying to, but he's not deliberately, ignoring the kid. But in the 2-hour 40-minute one, it's like, oh, come on, like he's not treating him right.
Yeah, he was a dick to him.
Yeah, but in the 2-hour version, you don't really see that. You kind of think that they're friends.
Huh. And it's just like a more like a fun thing than like he's literally just trying to get his interview. Yeah, okay.
So let me start it off with my first experience with this. I watched it over Easter, my family, and I was very confused. I thought that Stillwater at first was supposed to be Black Sabbath. And I'm like, which one's Ozzy? Is he because the manager's Australian?
Important distinction.
Yeah, and I'm like, that looks nothing like Ozzy. And then I slowly realized that this is a different band, and then I thought it was a real band.
It is basically it's basically the Allman Brothers, but it's like Allman Brothers with the Eagles and Leonard Skinner mixed in a little bit.
Russell Hammond is the Eagles guitarist, I think. One of the Eagles players, but yeah, Allman Brothers are mentioned. Black Sabbath, Deep Purple. Who else?
Simon and Garfunkel.
The Who.
Dude, that was
Jimmy was in it.
Yeah, Jimmy was on a poster too.
And pretty much every big '70s name rock artist was in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, whenever he was going through the albums, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, that's so sick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, which is seriously like some of our favorite music I know.
Oh yeah.
So it was just really cool to see in a movie.
And even just seeing it and having the experience that we had this weekend with a record player and crazy loud speakers at our buddy's house.
Yeah.
It would be so amazing to go back when you had to buy records and listen to an album in its full rather than shuffle play a playlist and skip until you want to hear a song.
It's absolutely totally different.
We're so spoiled.
I know.
Like my parents tell me that all the time.
Dude, like if we had to listen to each album, like each off a record, we would appreciate music so much more.
Even like just riding in the car with a CD. Like
even making a mixtape took a long time.
Yeah. Like you had to sit down and that's the
like
thing,
12 songs.
Like whenever you think about like you see it in movies all the time, like, oh, I made you a mixtape or something like that. Yeah. But like you look at it like with us right now, it's like, oh, like you made him a playlist.
I can make a playlist of 500 songs in like an hour.
And like realistically, it would we're probably less. Like you go bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And like anyway, but I think that is like I think that our parents especially like they grew up on like not necessarily records. I don't think, but like I think cassettes especially cassettes and CDs. Yeah. And so like have you all been riding in the car with your parents like and you're in charge of the music and they're like just pick a song. Like just pick a song. Does that ever happen to y'all? That happens to me all the time. My dad will be like pick a song. Like stop skipping.
My mom doesn't like listening to music in the car. She'd rather be silent, which is crazy.
Really?
And my dad is too lazy to connect to the Bluetooth, so he'll play it off YouTube off his phone.
That's jokes. That's funny.
I have playlists just for my dad to listen to.
Really?
Yeah.
So, this movie makes it very clear, and I would agree with it, that rock and roll is dead.
Wow.
It's a lost art.
Big statement.
Would you guys agree or no?
No, you'd have to explain it a little bit.
Just there's rock and roll like it was back then, and even into all throughout the 70s. It is nowhere to be found.
How was it back then?
Now.
Describe how it was.
They were saying the same thing then.
Well, I'm saying, do you
mean like the Philip Seymour Hoffman speech of like?
Well, yeah, rock and roll is dead, and then the revival. I mean, I'm not trying to be biased, but was the revival was the Ramones came in '74 and completely new sound, and then from that, other artists got inspired.
Okay, yeah, I'm on board.
You know, I'm really bad with band names, but
I mean, into Dave Matthews Band in the '90s, and more punk sound in the early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, and it could be just how music sounded in the late '60s, early '70s, and you just can't replicate that.
No, it's
now.
just a unique time.
You can replicate it, but you can't there's nothing like that new that's ever
exactly.
Like that
There's no audience to listen to that, so therefore no one makes it.
It's like you can like replicate, or you can try to mimic what all of these people were doing, what these bands are doing. Like you can replicate it, you can make it sound good, but it's never going to be new. Like you're not going to find something new like that. Well, there's going to be new stuff in music all the time, but it's never going to be anything like that. You know? Just because like where we're going in like technology and like with production in music, it's all electronic now. You know.
I think a lot of it has to do with like each decade is kind of you can define it in a different way.
Definitely.
And the 60s and 80s were very pop centered. The 70s was heavily rock, and that's it's not a normal thing when a different genre. Well, pop's kind of hard to define as a genre because it changes.
Because it changes, yeah. Like, but when you say pop music, like that could mean
it's just the popular music.
Yeah.
But this is of the 70s. The most popular music was all in one genre.
Yeah.
Rock. So that's really unique, and that's a really cool aspect of the 70s that again it's going to be hard to replicate.
Yeah.
And that's also like kind of what our parents missed out on. Like they weren't really like you can't be, like you weren't a part of it.
But think about songs that we know from the 2010s are like nostalgic for us now, even though we were maybe like 5, 6 years old.
True.
So in the 80s rolled around, like on the radio station, it's probably like, oh, it's a throwback from the 70s, Black Sabbath or whatever. So they were definitely more familiar than our generation is.
Yeah.
But I mean, even this movie came out in 2000, and they produced and made music from actors that sounded like the 70s. So it's possible. And like I said, I thought Stillwater was a real band. Like a week after I watched it for the first time, I looked them up on Spotify to try to listen to their stuff, and I was like, oh. Because the entire time I was like, how have I never heard of this band?
Wow, I didn't know you thought it was real that long.
Yes,
wow.
I really did. And I added every song that they had, the 4 songs.
Well, Cameron Crowe spent a long time writing, but not only did he make the songs for them to sing, he made 3 albums full of song titles and album covers.
Oh, yeah.
Like fully, and you can look them up. It's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and they're all supposed to sound like, oh wait, this seems really real because it seems like an Allman Brothers record.
Yeah.
And so if you look at the first 3 Allman Brothers records, it's basically the same shading, lighting, color style of
cool.
Stillwater's 3 records that don't exist, and the song titles are basically the same, just kind of different. But you should look it up on YouTube. It's really cool.
So, did the Allman Brothers come around after Skynyrd or during?
Right before, I thought.
Oh, okay.
It was like early 70s. Skynyrd was like 74 to like 79 real fast.
And was Skynyrd, do you guys know if Skynyrd was worldwide or just in the South?
Probably just in the South.
Yeah, there's no way they reached out all the way to California.
There's no way.
That's all like well
now obviously, but
now I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like whenever they were around, I just don't see that type.
I don't think they're around long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when was
the Eagles obviously
project.
did.
When was their?
I think
the Eagles got out there.
I think 73 was their first.
72 or 73. It's pronounced Leonard Skynyrd.
The Eagles was 70, I think, was their first one.
Yeah, Eagles, maybe earlier.
Maybe a little bit, maybe
like
late
68.
60s.
Yeah. I know Electric Ladyland was, I think, 70 or 71.
Okay. But the Eagles had more of that California sound anyway.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
It made sense
Hotel
that they were
California.
more. Yeah. Made more sense they were like a little bit more international than Skynyrd was. But.
So I'm very curious. Like you said, so I really want to watch those Cameron Crowe interviews. But I'm really curious to how accurate his entire life was to the movie. Like, was his mom really, the
thing I watched wasn't talking about his mom as much, but he did talk about. I was just going to mention this real fast. He says the movie was originally supposed to be about a publicist. Not a journalist, so he wasn't going to be the main character, and it wasn't supposed to be a southern rock band. It was supposed to be a British rock band.
Wait, like a publicist, like somebody to get their name in magazines.
And I was like, this doesn't really work. And then he kind of rewrote the whole. He was going to hire Bowie to be the main character, to be the publicist, because he liked his acting performances or something. He's like, no, I kind of need to be the main character, and I rewrote the whole movie around his life, which is very interesting. But he didn't talk about his mom much, but in some of these YouTube videos I watch, he just kind of explains like that whole trip he went on with, it was the Allman Brothers in real life, and he talks about how his interview with Greg Allman and how it took forever to get, and when he finally did, he wouldn't let him air it. But eventually he got the tapes or whatever back. The tape recorder William Miller used the whole movie, that's his actual tape recorder.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
The one he used on that trip. He was actually 15, 16 years old. And people did just let him hang around because he was young. It was like, I don't get interviewed by teenagers. This is weird. Yeah. And they just kind of just let him hang around.
That's awesome. That's a dream come true.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like an awesome summer. Or spring.
Yeah, barely even summer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
How long do you think that trip was?
It's not long.
I think it's like 4 weeks.
Yeah. It's like all right there. It's like you just got a show. You got a day or two.
His sister was a stewardess, though. She did live home and became a stewardess.
Bro, Zoe Deschanel's
interesting little performance.
She was great. I love her character. Dude.
She's not in enough.
No, not at all. She needs to like pop up somewhere in the middle randomly. Yeah. You know?
She's about to be old now.
Why did that one scene her boyfriend came into his room?
I don't think that was not in the 2-hour version.
Bro, that was weird.
Yeah.
He just came in. It's like, you know what we've done in these 4 walls.
Like, you start breathing heavy and
that was clearly something that was cut out of the final cut.
Bro, and that's the thing. Like, he's typing, like he's listening to the interview. He hears his window open, doesn't flinch or anything. Just goes, "Hey, Daryl."
What's he say? Like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, let's get kind of back to where, like, I want to talk about the movie and stuff.
Yeah.
Where did we leave off?
The first concert.
Yeah.
First concert. Okay.
Meet Penny Lane, Sapphire. I want to get into Penny Lane down the road.
Okay.
Because I think that's a.
Oh, you said rock and roll's dead.
Yeah, rock and roll. I don't know. That rock and roll is dead. Obviously, there's sounds now that I can appeal to, but nothing like that. That I don't know. It's just.
I also just think like you were defined by like a generation. Yeah. So like if you're really popular, let's say the Allman Brothers, you have 15 years to like make your difference, and after that you're just you're playing reruns. Right. Like you're playing to the generation that's now too old to go to concerts. So now you're playing your hits. Like you don't need to make any more hits after like 15 years. Like Skynyrd is kind of like remembered as so legendary because they only played that short amount of time, you know, because of that, playing that accident and everything.
Now,
but
I think it's kind of different with, like, there's still like bands from the 90s, not so much the 80s, but there's still bands from the 90s that are still making new music.
And that tour.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because I'm like, I don't think if I was an artist I'd want to do that. I'd want to do it for like 10 or 12 years and get, that was my time.
The Eagles still tour.
That's crazy.
Or they did. And Paul McCartney just had his last tour.
Yeah.
Bro, I love 311. They come out in the late 80s.
Oh, really?
And they are still gunning. Like 30 years later, they are still touring, like world tours, doing European tours, doing festivals, doing all this stuff. Like that stuff is so cool to me. And the Foo Fighters are releasing a new album this month. Or I think, did you read the article I sent you?
No.
It's either this month or next month.
And the Social Distortion's first album came out in '78.
They're doing a tour.
Yep.
Like, this is crazy. Like, that just goes to show, like, I don't know. But I think that, obviously back then there was a lot more use of substances that kind of affect people in the long run, and they might not be able to shake, or they might not be able to get off, and that's stuff that can affect bands. And like take Ozzy Osbourne for example now.
Yeah, he's
like
old though.
You can't understand a word but like for the last if you look at interviews of him from like 25 years ago, like you're like, wow, like this is a real, like that's still him. Like he is. He is.
Well, and the same thing with Taylor Hawkins too.
Or Alice Cooper is still insane.
I don't know much about him.
Alice Cooper's a crazy person.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that's what makes him him, though, you know.
Yeah.
But the question is, are old rock stars, are they depressing or are they really cool? It's kind of like old gangsters.
It depends, dude.
Are they pathetic or like, oh, that's cool, man? It's kind of a fine line.
I think to a point, if you just love making and playing music, do it, and people are going to support you.
It just has to be weird though, because like if you're like the Eagles, we just brought them up that they still tour. If you're the Eagles, you were on top of the world for like 10 or 15 years, right?
Yeah.
And you were a cultural influence. The Eagles are no longer culturally influential.
Yeah, but they're still.
They're still might be churning out music, but like, is their music still like?
It still means enough to people for them to go out and sell out an arena.
Yeah, but how about like the actual substance of the music? Are they saying something, or are they making hits. Like, what's the purpose of writing new songs?
It's all a cash grab for bands like that. It's just a cash grab.
That's what I think. I'm just like, because if I was an artist, I'm obviously not, but if I was, I just feel like if I wasn't doing it for some sense of like, I want to hit or I want to write a great song, I was like, why am I even doing this?
No, it's like we're all still here. Why wouldn't we pump out some new music and get a paycheck out of it and like just have fun with it? They're not sitting there trying to relive old days. They're sitting there trying to make a little bit of money, maybe get some plays on some songs. Like, it's not like it's like them trying to revive a life that they once lived. It's not them trying to strike fire into a career that they once had. It's literally just them having fun in their older age, and just kind of doing their thing. That's what I think anyway. I don't think it's them trying to make it again.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And that's what's so sad to me about Taylor Hawkins is, you know, you would consider the Foo Fighters way out of their prime, and
now,
well, even when he passed
away, it's like the Foo Fighters had like they've released 2 new albums in the past like I don't know 8 years or something like that.
Yeah. Like
they're not like it's not like they were like in like from their first album was what 94. Before
91 or 92.
Yeah, but then if you look at like it was like they would pump out a project and then maybe a year and then another project.
Wait, no,
I think it's 94. I could be wrong.
Yeah, hold on.
But it's like the Foo Fighters especially, or like if you look at any band like that.
Yeah, I mean you're right.
It's like they'll make an album,
it's like
tour,
it's like
make an
months.
album, tour. Like it's like project after project.
I mean,
that's
why it's like it's really tough on people. That's why they're a bunch of these guys are on drugs, have a bunch of problems.
What was the next album? Everlong?
97.
97.
That's like why I'm saying like if this like cycle of like making music and then touring is like so hard on people, I can't believe people do it for so long. Like, wouldn't you try to get out the game eventually?
Right.
Once you made all your money.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying about Taylor Hawkins. Everyone thinks that they're done. They're just playing music because they love it, but I don't know if he's going hard every night, but he, like you said, you have habits that you can't shake. And the band members, Dave Grohl, all of them, they had to know. They had to know about it.
This is a big part of the movie too, because like we've all been trying to go home for so long. It's like a big point of the movie. Like, none of these people like ever go home.
Yeah.
They just. What's the quote by Billy Crudup? He goes like,
I thought I was.
We're all trying not to go home or something.
Oh, I thought you were talking about whenever he was like. Oh gosh, what did he say? He was like, "No, I have to be home by Thursday." That's what I said. The same thing 30 years ago.
Yeah,
that's what the manager said.
Something like that.
He was saying
the manager.
He said, help me get Russell's interview. I need to be home."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's like, I said the same thing.
You know, that's the dad in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Is it?
The one with Johnny Depp. That one.
I don't know.
I knew I recognized him from somewhere, and I looked it up. I was like, sure as hell, there he is.
So do you think that's a big point of the theme of trying to get off the wagon of this crazy life of touring and
not for them because they're new.
Yeah.
They're starting up, so I think they're trying to find their groove. I mean, in the Penny Lane birthday scene, they're like, "Can we please stop opening for Black Sabbath and get our own tour?" You know, they're trying to get to the point.
I was just like, you can't be that new. I mean, at that point.
Yeah, and they were playing for some huge
Dude, did you
crowds.
see they had a sold out arena, like a full pit of like. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're not new, you know. And like people are screaming your name, like that's like they didn't do very good with that.
Jason Lee was describing at one point in the movie. He's like how they're being afraid of being a one hit wonder because Fever Dog was like their big hit, so they didn't want to be a one hit wonder.
Why'd they open up with it then?
That's a good point. It's a great point. Don't open your hit.
Well, they only opened it with one time.
That's true.
That scene, which I respected as a band, you know, because we go see shows and they play the same songs every time. Which, I mean, you support them because you like the music, but you would love to see some other songs.
That's true.
How do you guys think of Jason Lee singing?
That's pretty good, bro.
Yeah, I like it. Pretty damn good. I like it, and like I said, I don't know if it's just because you can't replicate the 70s sound, but they do it, and I think that's why it was so appealing to me. That's why I wanted to look them up, because it's like, wow, the sound is very 70s and very good, and
There's lots of actors or a lot of singers who act. When we think of actors who sing.
Yeah.
Jason Lee, Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Actors who sing.
I mean, I want to say like
Adam Sandler does his little whistle sing.
I want to say like
baby talks.
Dean Martin and like older guys.
Bro, what?
But they were all singers who were acting.
Sing.
Like Jerry Lee Lewis was even acting back in the day, but he's a singer. Elvis acted a bunch, but he was a
Actors
singer.
who sing. Why is this so hard for me?
I got 2. That's all I got.
Meryl Streep.
I've never heard her sing.
Amy Adams.
Is Amy Adams sing?
Amy Adams in the
She's been in a musical, hasn't she?
In the Muppets.
Well, and Meryl
There we go.
Streep and Mamma Mia.
Oh,
Okay, I
right.
used to see Mamma Mia.
Ryan Gosling, you can say.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, dude. La La Land.
Did Emma Stone sing that? Or she get dubbed over?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Almost.
Hugh Jackman
Oh, he was in
and the Greatest Showman. Was that-
Yeah, but he was also in a different musical, wasn't he? No, that's Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was in that.
Almost George Clooney. Almost.
Oh, we thought it was.
Almost.
We thought it
Did
was.
you? I saw
Oh yeah.
We thought
I saw
it was. It sounded like him.
videos of him talking about like, yeah, I was working on my singing for like months, but I eventually got dubbed over.
It turned out so good though. I can't even blame
Yeah.
him.
I mean, and Zac Efron. You know,
Yeah,
High School Musicals,
yeah. He's
and
an actor
he's in
too.
The Greatest Showman too. I
Yeah.
think,
He is.
unless I'm thinking of a movie that's very
No, it's Zac
similar to
Efron.
that. So yeah, I really liked Stillwater's music.
Yeah.
I think
Ross Lynch.
that really brought it together.
Ross Lynch.
He's got to be a singer first, right?
Ross Lynch.
I don't know. First
Who?
thing, he
Jason
made
Lee?
big acting.
Ross Lynch. Ross Lynch will be in Raleigh in 3 days, people.
What is raining though? Sadly.
3 days. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gonna be raining.
Are you gonna go?
Probably not. In the rain, and I have a baseball game.
Yeah, you can't do that. Dude, that's crazy.
It's gonna be a mud pit over there.
Dude, we're not gonna have a grass field over there anymore. It's gonna be like, did you see it?
Bro, that last
year?
It was insane. It
Yeah.
passed the towers, the crowd. You couldn't even see the stage from the back of the crowd.
We were right, like, I remember, I don't know,
Who was last year? Coin?
Coin and the Backseat Lovers. You know that song Kilby Girl?
Yeah.
That was like right when that started to get
That's
popular.
a good song. I like that song.
And they opened for Coin. And Coin like debatable, like it's debatable if Coin or the Backseat Lovers are bigger at this point.
Really?
I think so. Cause like they are
We're
right
turning into
there.
a music podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's so easy to talk about music and
That's
divert
true.
from this movie because
Yeah.
it is so great.
It's about the decade of music.
it's about the love of music.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, and I feel like I would like to think that I appreciate music, but compared to this movie and like you said, half the albums he flipped through,
Yeah.
never even listened to.
And these are supposed to be like
Yeah,
the ones.
I
Like
did listen to Tommy today.
Oh, okay,
The Who
yeah.
album, the one that if you lit a candle, you would see your future. It was there was a couple songs I liked, but nothing really.
What's the Who's that one big song?
I always forget what it's called, but everyone in the world knows.
Yeah,
it.
everybody. In
How
the world.
about at the poker table? There was a band that I'd never heard of. Present at that poker table.
My generation.
Who was at that table? The Allman Brothers.
Allman
Stillwater. Was it
The
Skinner?
Eagles.
No, it was the Eagles.
Eagles. Oh my God, there's one more.
And I'd never heard of them. Oh crap!
No, they're good.
Who?
It's 2 words. It's
I don't know.
I know.
They were going on their European tour for it. That was
Yes,
one
I know
thing.
exactly.
Deep Purple?
No.
No, that's who they sold.
They sold it.
No.
Oh,
Are you
there's
looking
one
it up?
more.
Yes.
Humble
Humble Pie. I've never heard of Humble Pie. Is that a real band?
I don't know. Look 'em up. Hey, brother!
Real.
Developing the system of poker over the years.
30 Days in the Hole. Same song. 72.
So, and they're playing a poker game called Indian Sweat, which I played with my family, which I think we should start playing on our poker nights.
Okay.
What is it?
You put it, you go around, whoever's the dealer or whatever, you grab a random card, you put it on your head, and you look at everyone else's
But
cards,
you can't see yours.
and yeah,
That's what
you
you're
put a
doing.
chip in to see if you want to stay in, and then people will be like, oh, if they see an ace, they'll be like, alright, I'll fold. but they could fold with an ace too. And then you go around until there's no one left, and then whoever wins.
So it's like opposite of what.
Like, yeah, you see everyone else's, not
yours.
You
see everyone else's, but not yours.
Yeah, it's
It was humble pie.
Humble pie. Shoot, should we talk about William Miller's character at all before we get into Penny?
Go ahead.
Loved him as a kid.
Yeah.
Very interesting, very reserved. I thought, but he was just very smart. He knew when to talk, when not to talk.
Except when it came to Penny. He was just he would let shit loose, dude.
We'll get to Penny. Penny is so.
Well, the one thing I'll say about William is that he is. This is a writer's movie, obviously, what we always talked about, but it's also like a critic's movie. A writer, someone who critiques things. So it's. I have to figure I'm not a critic. That's got to be a tough job because you want to like things, but this is also a career of like disliking things.
Right.
So then you have to find a balance of like what you're a fan of, and that's a lot of the movies. Like, is he a fan of the band and that why he's writing positively about them, or are they objectively good?
Right.
People the whole time they think he's like the ops. They think he's like he's not, man. Like, he likes them.
Yeah. And that's like a huge part of the movie because like inherently a good critic of music should like music. Like, you shouldn't be a rock music hater and be a rock music critic. But you can't just like everything,
Yeah.
So you have to like pick your points of like, oh, I don't really like that. And I thought William's pretty good at that because every time he critiques somebody's music, he's always like, oh, you're trying. Like, he knew exactly what was wrong. He wasn't just like, that's not me. Like, I don't like that. I don't know. It's very interesting. Like, I didn't see much of him like doing an actual job. You don't see that a whole lot in the movie, but I thought he was portrayed as a good critic.
Oh, definitely.
Someone who likes, because I think like a lot, even movie critics. I think a lot of movie critics today are just like not good at their job. They hate on things that other people like just because they're what's the word? People who like things that other people don't like. Contrarians, that's right. They're because they're contrarians. They don't want to like what everyone else likes. Like right now, Morgan Wallen. Everyone loves Morgan Wallen. Everybody loves Morgan Wallen. I know some people that hate Morgan Wallen just because everyone else likes him.
Yeah,
that's not fun.
Yeah,
he's good.
Sometimes it's fun to not like something.
That's true. Likes. But with music, I think it's fun to like everything.
Music, you shouldn't think anything about what other people think. And
that's true.
That's why being a critic of music is so strange because everyone grew up on the music they listen to, has like their own music taste. You can't criticize because it doesn't doesn't enter your ear and you like it,
Yeah.
What's yours is yours.
Yeah.
That's all it really comes down to.
Philip Seymour Hoffman would definitely agree with this conversation, I think. Because his whole character was like, everything is bullcrap, nothing's real, it's all just a bunch of garbage. He called it gobbledygook.
What did I just see?
It's all gobbledygook, but if you own that it's stupid, you're awesome.
Yeah, and that's why he said, who was he talking to? Who was he talking about with the radio host? Maybe it was
David Bowie.
Maybe no, I think it was the Who, and he was like, "Oh, they just pose as drunken buffoons."
Yes,
but they guess
the Doors.
Yeah, the Doors.
The Doors are drunken buffoons, but act like they're not. And guess who?
No. The Who, or the Doors act like they're drunken buffoons, but the Guess Who actually are drunken buffoons and act like they aren't.
I thought he said they are and they own it.
Yeah, maybe.
And when the Doors are just like.
Yeah. The Doors
acting like different people than they actually are.
Yeah, they act like it and they're not. And they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's that general sentiment of like, stop trying so hard.
Right.
Just because he said once it's like about the music, it's just a popularity contest.
There's dude. There's some bands that just try really hard for no reason.
And that's the whole problem with today's music. Like the bands that we see, they try
to be somebody that
they try.
I mean, like maybe like they think they are, but they're.
It's just it's
just
not,
like, dude.
Man. I think
like relax. Just relax.
I think the coolest people are themselves, and they don't care what you think.
And there's bands that we see that are just like that too. That are just like them.
Yeah.
But I think that we kind of know who we think.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
That goes a lot into Stillwater though, because Jason Lee has multiple ramblings where he's like trying to tell you exactly who he is, and I'm like, rock and roll, save the world.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when he hears like all of his quotes from the
I
magazine
think it's
editor,
so
he's
funny.
like, "There's no way I said that.
Yeah.
Like we sound like amateurs."
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
a golden
And
god.
he says, "I sound like a dick the whole
Yeah.
time," and they go like, "Yeah, you are."
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize like how he sounds. He doesn't realize that he
it's
sounds like an
he's
idiot.
trying to sound profound.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. You're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Just sound like you.
Yeah. There's so many great characters in this movie. I think Penny Lane might be my top 10 characters from a movie of all time.
Wow.
She's fun.
She's crazy.
She deserves the cover.
Yeah, for sure. And I also meant to say this. I've been wanting to watch this movie called Almost Famous for a crazy long time.
Dude, I still, like, my parents, or my dad still has it in his...
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying.
Like
I've heard
his
so many good
DVDs,
things
like-
about it, but I didn't watch it until my family put it on for me. And two, had no idea it was about music in the early 70s.
The poster's kind of deceiving.
Oh, for sure. I thought I get this movie and Thelma and Louise mixed up, like just off the posters.
Okay.
Never seen
I
it.
guess they're
I
both
have to
like
think about the
orange. I think they're both orange or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea. Like if I knew this was about rock and roll in the 70s, I would have watched it so much earlier.
Yeah.
But let's get into Penny.
Okay.
I'm gonna lay something out, and I want you guys to tell me what you think.
Okay.
She's not a groupie.
She's three things.
Okay.
She's a muse.
Okay.
You know what that means?
Yes.
Like inspiration for.
Yeah.
She's a groupie,
Uh-huh.
and she's a band-aid.
Okay.
How do you guys define band-aid?
Well, how they said it was like, keep everybody together or whatever. Keep it like,
Fun and lighthearted.
yeah.
I
Like
think
it's-
there's two aspects of it. One, Penny Lane described it herself as like basically what JC just said. But then two, you have to factor in, I think the exact previous scene, Philip Seymour Hoffman had this line where he's like, everything is stupid, and if you're acting like it's not, like it's your like that whole scene. And I think that's very important because I think that's in direct conflict with what Penny Lane said. Because Penny Lane's like, no, I'm an enlightened version of a groupie. I'm better. Like she's talking about herself in such a high manner of like I'm the best groupie of all time, basically. Because I'm not even a groupie anymore. I'm a band-aid.
Yeah.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman would say, no, you're not. You're just a groupie, bro. Like it's not that important. And I think that is like the proper way to look at it. Because like she thinks so highly of like what she does, but in reality, it's really not that important.
If you look at like how she ended up,
Billy Crudup at the end of the movie just treats her like a groupie.
because that's
You
what
know?
she is.
She's just a groupie. Like she thinks one thing, but
Yeah.
not really.
But throughout the movie, you see her. In
Yeah, you
each of
see her
these-
struggle with this.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like she also refers to like the real world constantly. You know, like it's like
A
it's
lot of
like
characters do.
it's like what she's living in isn't even like real. Like
Okay,
it's
how
just
about
like
this? The real in this movie is the mystique. The real
Yeah.
is the mythical.
Yeah.
Which so that those are two opposite words. But the real is the mythical in this
Yeah.
movie because they never define it. Like in the party scene where they go to Topeka and like go to the big high school party, Billy Crudup the whole time is like, "You're real, man.
Yeah, 'cause
you're so real." And like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You're
it's
just
like is that
it means you're a normal person, but
we're
he
just
can never
real
define
Topeka
that.
people or whatever.
Yeah, we're just real Topeka people,
That's
and
funny.
it's just like.
And they're like-
They're all looking for something real. They're all looking for something to write
Right.
about, for something to watch, for something to listen to. They all want something real, but they can never find it.
That scene is so funny because Russell and William go off and or Russell's like, I just want to find something real. Like let's go find something real. And they just start walking, and then the van pulls up like, hey, you want to come party with us? Like, we're not rock stars or anything. We're just real Topeka people. And then Russell and William look at each other and like one of them's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, it's great. So Williams, the realest thing of the whole movie.
Yeah.
And they, kind of disregard him the whole time. Like, if they wanted something real, they should go talk to William.
Yeah.
But,
My favorite part is that scene is whenever he takes the cup of acid,
yeah.
chugs it, hands it back to the kid, Topeka, and walks away.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
And then the
What?
kid goes, that was mine.
That was mine, yeah. What the heck? He's in Topeka?
And then
Yeah.
and Will's on the phone. He goes, how do I know? What do you mean? How do I know if it's
How
kicked
do I
in
know
or
if
not?
it's kicked in or not? And then it cuts to him on
I'm
the
a golden
roof.
god. I'm a golden god.
That was funny.
And then that leads to maybe one of the greatest scenes of the movie. Yeah. Or
That's
Tiny
fun.
Dancer.
Oh yeah, Tiny
Dancer.
Not Piano Man. Mixed up my Elton John.
Yeah, that was a good scene. The airplane scene's pretty good too.
The airplane.
Very funny. Because the airplane scene starts with like honest confessions, like Jimmy Fallon says, I killed a guy or whatever, and then it's like confessions, but like I slept with their wife. It's not just like I feel bad. Now it's like I have to be honest with you because like
we're gonna die.
I did terrible things.
Yeah.
But then at the end, it's just like I'm gay. Like it just gets crazy.
No, it was crazy because like 2 of the band members had slept with the manager's wife, and then Jason Lee's character slept with Russell's wife, and then it all turns out that the drummer was gay. Or no.
Yeah,
the drummer with the bangs.
And then the plane's immediately fine.
Yeah. You think that was?
That's funny.
Like supposed to represent the Skinner plane crash?
Yeah, absolutely. Because even the audience who's thinking like, "Oh, this is Skinner."
Yeah.
They're supposed to die here. They're like, "This is supposed to be the end of the movie."
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty ingeniously used. I wonder if that was a real thing, like William Miller was on.
There's a lot that I am curious.
That's what I was saying.
Well, not William Miller, but Cameron Crowe. But.
Yeah. Going back to Penny Lane. Did you guys like her as a character?
Yeah,
she's pretty unlikable, right?
No, she's likable off rip.
I mean, she's pretty impossible to not like.
Yeah,
Sorry,
impossible to not like. Yeah, she's like, you can't not like the girl. Like constant good attitude, like literally through everything, and like right off the rip, like she's like, I'll try to get you in, like this and that, and then William finds a way in, and then like she comes up. Like, I got you a pass. Like however long later, like, just to goes to show, like, she's, like, a nice person. She's thinking about this kid. But then, like, I think about it from the point of view of William. Like, he sees this woman that's just, like, an entity.
Yeah.
Like, just...
Not real.
Yeah, like, just really isn't real. And then, you think, like, Penny Lane, like, oh, like, this is literally just a kid. You know?
Right.
But, like, if William was, like, a... I don't know. I just don't see like realistically any real way that they could ever be anything. Really? I don't think so. I don't think they could ever really be anything.
She's
like,
not real.
She's like you don't know like who she really is.
Down? Well, if she settles down, she's not Penny Lane.
She settled down at the end of the movie.
Yeah, and then she turns into. That's why she says her name. She's not herself. She turns back into whoever she was.
Lady
Goodman.
Goodman?
Yeah.
She turns back into Lady Goodman. She can't be Penny Lane if she settles down.
It's true. Very true.
She's a totally different person.
It's
an impossible life to live outside of like touring.
Russell's wife really sent her down
It's true.
rabbit
hole.
Bro,
that was a weird scene.
And
that's also the only time in the movie that she like dresses up and like straightens her hair, puts her hair up like this and that, and then just to like she's like looking over like at them or whatever. And then, another thing was like whenever they're like,
who's that? Like, why is she looking at us? And then all of them go, me.
She's with me.
And then that was like immediate tell that it was the one guy who didn't say me. Oh, that's great writing. Yeah. Great directing.
For sure. What was I gonna say? I think her character and her emotions are very, very realistic as well. Just because, like, totally think about, she's a groupie, and the most talented guy in the band is giving her all the attention for a summer, and then they don't go on tour, or tour ends, and they I assume they kicked her out again.
Probably.
Well, think about how she tells us how she got started on the whole touring thing.
Oh yeah, who was it again?
The lead Allman Brother.
Was it?
It was the Allman Brother, the guy who died.
Oh really? And I don't think that was in the original.
No, that's probably not. But she said she's like 17 or 18 or something, and got pulled up on a stage.
I thought she was 16.
Yeah, she got pulled up on stage and never looked back.
Never came back, which is a crazy thing to say, but
yeah, think about it. If you are getting all the attention from this guitarist who's a rock star for 4 or 5 weeks straight, and then all of a sudden they kick you off. Like when you realistically and as humans, like you see all like the love shows, like The Bachelor, Love Island, and you're like 14 episodes in or whatever, and these people are saying like I love you so much. I'm a firm believer in the more time that you spend with each other, the faster that your feelings progress. Because, like, think about it. If you're dating a girl, it's going to be awkward at first. You're going to ask her on a date. You guys are both going to be tense. You're going to have dinner, go get ice cream, and then that's it. And then you text. Nowadays. But, like, if you're spending every second with this person, you're going to skip all that.
Sure.
And you're going to develop feelings that you can't help. And yes, maybe she is a kid, but Russell felt the same way. Russell came back, and he just, like, I find it very relatable how she's feeling. It's like she gets into this groove of being with him this entire time.
It's also when she's rejected. She's not really rejected.
Like, not right now.
The lead singers basically act like when they're like trading them around. Like, all right, we're going here, and you go with them now. Then we'll get you later. Like, so it's not really being rejected at all. It's just like we'll move on for a little bit.
But Russell definitely cares.
Yeah. For sure. Because at the end, he's like, hey, let's talk. Let's say everything that we never got to say.
Yeah.
And Penny's like, just like, yeah, here's my address, and then sends him to William's house. And Russell took it like a champ and just embraced it. He was like, yeah, I didn't need to talk to you. What city did they?
San Diego.
That's right, San Diego.
She had so many good quotes. Like Kate Hudson. I think she was 21 in the film.
She was born. I looked this up. She was born in '79. You're correct.
Yeah, so she did amazing.
She did.
That had to be her first big role. She said, William was like,
tell all the girls, don't take it too serious. If you don't take it too serious, you can't get hurt. Something
you can't get hurt, you always have fun.
Yeah, something like that.
And then when William's like, I have to go home.
You are home.
Boom. You are home. Like, I don't know, just something about her persona.
She was fun.
Yeah, and she's
still killing it.
She is the ringleader when they're deflowering him.
Oh, that was so funny.
Like, I was like, wow, he's about to get laid by Penny Lane. And then
also, when they're crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, and they're like, all right, we took you across the globe.
Yeah, that was great.
We did everything. We
everything
get you laid.
Yeah.
And they like smile. It's like, they're like, oh, no fucking way. That's so good, dude.
I think her and Philip Seymour Hoffman are the two best characters. Yeah, Russell Hammond's good too, but he's kind of an asshole.
I see what you're saying, but like Jason Lee had a great performance, dude.
Nah, but he's a dick.
He was, but like that was what he was supposed to be.
And the chicks are great.
And at the end of the movie, it's just like he acknowledges that like, because him and Russell have been fighting the whole movie.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, he acknowledges, okay, maybe we're supposed to fight a little bit. Like that makes the band more interesting. He's like, I'm fine with that. We'll fight a little bit.
And I was thinking about that too. Like most bands that are good, they're not. They didn't grow up together. They like aren't from the same. They're not cut from the same cloth from the same neighborhood. They came together and they play instruments well together. That's it.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to talk. They have to collaborate on band things, but outside of work, so called, they don't have to talk. And like that put in perspective for me because one of my favorite bands, the Ramones, they had a terrible relationship, but they realized that the band was bigger and like we can still produce music. And half the songs they wrote, not half, but a lot of songs they wrote were about each other. Which is, but at the end of the day, they're making money, they're playing music, and people love them. What else? I feel like I got so much more. So yeah, she's a muse. She's a great time. She's a Band-Aid, keeping them all lighthearted and fun.
Who's paying for this shit?
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone.
Are funding the kid, right?
No, remember he's
funding everything?
On the phone, he said, don't let him pay for anything.
Wow.
Well, yeah, but also their record, which is supposed to be, I believe, AMC in this movie. Because they actually assigned them to a real record and like acted like they were.
I didn't understand the whole T-shirt thing.
Okay, I didn't either.
That's because Russell was up front.
No, he was
the other two
in
out of
focus.
focus.
Yeah, the other three were like in the background.
But the whole thing was like
he's not even a singer. Is what
Jason Lee's character was supposed to be the front guy.
Well, not even
that was the agreement.
Well, not even that. Just like have them all up there.
Yeah. He's the vocalist, and he's like, I don't want. I don't.
No, but whenever he said that, he was kind of duking on the drummer and the bassist because he like blurted out that in private him and Russell had this conversation like, I'll be the lead, but you're that mystic guitarist and the other guys don't matter. But he like with his emotions he let it out. So that
great find by William getting that shirt.
Yeah.
Great find.
I don't think him dropping the suitcase full of souvenirs was in the original cut.
That's probably true.
What was that? It was just lighters and stuff that he
Lighters.
got from all over the world.
Every day I thought it was my last day, so I just picked something up every day.
Or was that when the quote was? I thought every day. I thought it was gonna be my last day. Me too, kid. And 30 years later.
No. This is with like the doorman or something.
Yeah.
I think when he rips the bag over and he's helping him put it, he's like, "Why you got so many souvenirs?"
Oh right, and that's when Jay Baruchel runs back up.
Because a lot of them are it's like ice
trinkets.
Yeah, ice and like cigarette ashers. What are they called? Ashtrays.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to talk about Penny Lane more? Or you want to?
Yes.
All right. Keep going.
We gotta get you a poster.
That's a good one. Good idea.
She was a band-aid. Even when Russell was angry, she knew how to deal with him and keep the overall morale up.
She was never not in his hotel room.
Well, she was.
Like during the days, like unless it was like at a show, unless it was like at a dinner or something like that, or on the road, she was always in his hotel room.
And I think she was a lot of the problem why William didn't get his interview.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's why I'll do what I can. Just come to Cleveland. Come to Boston.
That's
come to New
some
York.
of the problem.
But
the relationship between William and Penny.
Yeah.
That scene.
And he didn't realize it.
Yeah.
He all thought it was Russell's fault.
Yeah. And William didn't seem, as a character, didn't seem like super mad about it till like the whole article got scrapped. But like, that's part of the problem. Like, I don't want to say it's a problem with the movie, but like William was a little bit too infatuated with Penny Lane, in my opinion. Like,
nah, dude, you're 15. You see like this amazing person like has like the whole world at her fingertips. That's like,
well, and he's not cool. And she is the definition of cool. She walks around like she's one of the rock stars.
Yeah.
So
she's almost famous.
It's Penny Lane, man. Show some respect.
Exactly. She knows everyone.
She only does this with the talented. What is the quote?
Oh right.
She only does this.
Famous people are just more interesting.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That was the groupie in her, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, but she cared about the entire band. She was the biggest fan. The monologue with William on the plane. You kicked out your biggest fan. She genuinely cared about all you guys. That was true too. You know, and that really, you know, even though she was a groupie and was having sex with.
And then you get the scene where they're eating, like the scene after that, and what's the girl's name? Alexia? She has a little dialogue of like, is it about just like hanging around famous people and having sex with rock stars? Sure, some of it's a little bit about that, but some of it's like, I really like this music. I was like, that's a good little dialogue. I like that. From a side character.
Yeah. And if you get housing and
she was so much fun.
Food, I would do it.
Bro, Jason Lee's character was screwing the young girl the whole time. The whole movie.
Weren't they all young?
Not that young. Jason Lee got the youngest one, dude. Got the youngest one. The one that went with Deep Purple. The freaking tiny one, dude. The young one.
Well,
that freaked me out.
15-year-old, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I was talking to someone about this, which wasn't that weird back then.
Don't get us canceled.
Lock me up and throw away the.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is the early 70s and the 50s and even 40s and 60s.
Consent laws were the same.
How old are you? 17. Me too.
I love that.
16.
Me too.
Me too.
The church just sounds different.
I'm 15. Like I said, that was a great scene, though.
Yeah, I want to be able to watch this movie so many times where I can think of more quotes. A couple of them at the end from Philip Seymour Hoffman stick with me.
I like the part. Hold on, this is funny. He goes, "What are you listening to right now?" Oh. He goes, "Stillwater." He hangs up the phone. I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
These fucking kids or something like that.
Oh my gosh. He's like, you can't listen to him, bro.
And then
Alexia, I want to talk about her. She was so funny. I loved her character.
I did not.
Did you notice how she was like a messenger the whole time?
Yeah, she was.
Like she was like
Kill messages.
like she
ran into the wall.
Whenever she ran into the wall, like, by the way, your mom called. She told me to say she knows what's going on, or something like that. And then whenever they're like taking the kid's virginity, and she's like, "Ooh, what's his name? Will?" Rolling Stone, like Will. That's a sexy name.
Ben,
He grabs the
Ben Fong Torres.
Yeah, whatever it is.
That's a real person, by the way.
Really?
Cameron Crowe, that was his actual contact at the Rolling Stone. Ben Fong Torres.
Yeah. But I loved her character, and then her little quote at the end, like, these new girls, man, like, I don't like these new girls.
Yeah, they were just groupies. The new girls were just groupies, but Penny Lane was more than a groupie, and I'll stand by that, and I'll die by that. Penny Lane was needed for Stillwater, and the second that she wasn't there, it all went to
SHIT.
Yeah, on the plane.
That's true.
Cameron Crowe has said that Penny Lane, obviously not a real person, but is based on a real person.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
And the pictures at the end,
Yeah.
those were real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they looked a lot like
Will
actors.
Will Miller's best friend on this trip. Well, not Will Miller. Cameron Crowe's best friend on this trip was his photographer. It seems like, and there was a photographer that went with him, a young guy just like him, and just took pictures while Will just wrote.
Really?
So I thought that was really cool. So that he like has all the evidence of this. Like just he can just pull it out of a box. Like look at this picture. It's awesome.
That's so sick. Yeah, so some of the quotes from Philip Seymour Hoffman at the end, where he was like, dude, or he said, you get caught in the trap, they make you feel cool, and dude, I met you, you're not cool. And then William's like, thank goodness you were home.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I'm uncool.
I'm
I'm always home.
Yeah.
Like that.
He said it in his Philip Seymour Hoffman voice too.
Yes.
Like,
I really want to believe that that's off the dome from Philip Seymour Hoffman, because that's something I could totally see him saying. But also, the entire film was written like that, so I'm not so sure.
What year did he die?
2014, 15, I think.
That's crazy. How did he die?
Drug overdose.
Overdose, yeah.
Wow.
It's another thing. Like, that's not a guy that you think is.
Heck no.
I think Moneyball was one of his last movies.
Dude, Moneyball was awesome. I was thinking about choosing that one of these times.
It's a good movie, bro.
Do you have your movie? Do you know what you want to do?
No.
It's fine. So, how much do we think?
I have two questions I want to pose.
Go ahead, because mine are.
First question is kind of a. You don't have to know the answer immediately, just kind of thought provoking. So, at the beginning of the movie, Frances McDormand, is that her last name? Is that right?
Wow. Who?
The mom.
Okay.
She's like, she's, you know, obviously an interesting person,
She's
but
feisty.
very feisty. But she's someone back in these days in '73, older, who believes that, you know, rock and roll is. I mean, it's about sex and debauchery. You can't listen to that.
Yeah.
But like the whole movie, she's proven right that rock and roll is about sex and debauchery. So like, is rock and roll about sex and debauchery and degeneracy?
I mean, like the scene.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the music, but the scene.
But
people doing drugs.
the general question.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, I mean the general question. Back in the day, you have this like sense of that the old heads hated rock and roll because it was just too degenerate. And then like I feel like there's a lot of movies, especially like Footloose in the '80s, was all trying to prove no, it's not degenerate. We just love music. But then it like turns out like, well, maybe all the old people were right. Like, yeah, we just like having sex and listening to loud music. It's just a very thought-provoking idea. Because like, I don't know, old heads seem to be they were right.
Did I cut that out?
No, but I don't think he even heard you.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Okay.
You can watch it in the pod. No, but I mean, but also, the art of not caring is attractive to younger people, if that makes sense.
That's every
being
generation.
cool, the being cool.
Whenever we
It's
get
like-
old, we're gonna be like, okay, these fucking kids. Like,
Right,
it's
and
gonna
I
be
mean,
the
and
same
it's the same argument with our parents' generation and rap. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Absolutely.
don't get it, man. I'm serious. I've tried to play that music for my dad before. Like, that's just like realistically, that's what's popular. Whenever we're growing up, that's what's popular.
I mean, and not even like rap, but you know, Rihanna songs have like a rap verse in them. You know, so many
Hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop. You know what I mean? And the verse comes from a rapper who has rap songs, and they glorify drugs, sex,
absolutely
shooting. They bring in shooting people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Literal murder.
It just seems to me the old people have always been right.
Yeah, but I don't think killing people is cool. That's the thing.
Sex,
the old people.
I think
drugs.
Sex and drugs are fine, bro.
Sex and drugs can be harmless, but there's no harmless in killing people. Drugs can be harmful, and sex
You
can
hear
be
us,
harmful.
we're already turning to the old people.
Wow. Look at us.
What's going to be the next generation things? I can't believe they're singing about that.
Suicide.
I can't believe they're singing about suicide nowadays.
I mean,
glorifying suicide.
Well, I think glorifying these mass killers, the mass killings in the TV shows, and
we're old.
Like the freaking Jeffrey Dahmer shit.
That's true, bro.
I'm not gonna support that, dude.
Why would you make a show about that? Or Zodiac? Why would you make a movie about that shit? And use who'd they use for the guy in that?
I can never remember his name. The bald guy, the balding guy. Can never remember his name.
The balding guy.
John something, I think.
All I know is that Ross Lynch played My Friend Dahmer.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, very weird. What's another, like, mass...
Ross Lynch has been mentioned, like, 3 times.
Well, and all these...
He's on the poster.
He's on the thumbnail.
And all these Netflix, John Carroll Lynch is his name.
Oh, yeah. Lee Arthur Allen and Zodiac.
Lynch?
Yeah.
But
Lynch?
Yes.
Yeah.
And all these like true crime Netflix documentaries that are coming out.
Yeah,
my mom calls me every week and is like, "Have you seen this murder series?" I'm like,
they love them, bro.
That's.
It's different when it's like Forensic Files and it's about detectives, like old school, like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
shows. That's different to me.
That's cool, but no, like
this is like about
this is like putting millions of dollars towards like reenacting a murder,
is, bro.
Like that's crazy.
And then I think last year a movie with Jenna Ortega, The Fallout, is about someone that witnessed a school shooting.
I've seen clips of that. That is, it is genuinely, like, I've seen like little clips of that here and there. It's like terrifying.
You can't glorify that at all.
Yeah.
Like, you can't put that into people's heads at all. And I don't know if that's I don't know if that's the old head in me coming out. But
what if you're just right?
Yeah, it's
what if the old heads are just right, bro?
Realistically,
could just be.
They could be.
I don't know, dude.
It's all relative.
Maybe they were right about rock and roll.
Maybe.
Don't listen to that devil music. Regret has set in already. I've got them.
Is it devil music?
All right. It might be devil music, bro. All right. Second question, but it sounds pretty good. Jimi Hendrix sounds pretty good. Okay. Second question. In the movie, he gets his interview, and he's like, "What do you love about music?" He's like, "Stupid little kid question that you ask a rock star."
Yeah.
And he goes, to begin with, okay, nice little nugget right here. In the Cameron Crowe interview on YouTube, you see he like explains the albums he's made, like album covers he's made for Stillwater, and the first one is called To Begin With, Stillwater, To Begin With, and then Billy Crudup turns the chair around and goes, "To begin with, everything."
Wow.
That's the quote, and he's like, "That's a cool thing that Billy Crudup knew that this was like their album title."
Oh, so that was. That's okay.
So they nice little quote if you know like anything about Cameron Crowe's little side projects of making all their albums.
Yeah.
But what do y'all think about that answer and about the general statement like what's rock and roll about?
Dude, I agree completely. You hear so many songs that are about nonsense. Over
okay, is it Philip Seymour Hoffman's version of everything's nonsense, or is it like Jason Lee's rock and roll's gonna save the world?
Somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. You can look at these songs that that have no meaning on paper, and then bring a meaning out like a movie. Like one person can view it as this, or like Tommy, the album. You will see your entire future. Like you never know what kind of music's gonna affect who. And in that, I think it's everything. But again, there's another movie like another instance where like the Ramones, one of their songs is like 4 words repeating.
Yeah.
Between
ZZ Top, they have songs with like 6 words in them, and it goes on for 7 minutes because they're just jamming.
They're just jamming, and if you love the jam,
yeah.
like if you
like the song.
if you want to listen to something mindlessly and like just like not elevator music because that nowadays that's like offensive, but like just background, you know. Like,
yeah, I'm more on the side of Philip Seymour Hoffman. Obviously, it's not all like stupid and nonsense, but like I'm more on that side because especially with rock, you know, the different genres are different, but rock is kind of just like because Cameron Crowe in an interview talks about how his interview that took forever for him to get was with not the main guy in the Allman Brothers, but the second brother who didn't die. What was his name? I don't remember the guy's first name.
How many brothers were there?
There's two, at least two, maybe three. But not all the band members were brothers. But the Allman Brother, so one Allman Brother dies, motorcycle accident, and he tries to get this interview with him, and he won't talk. And he finally does, and he like pours his whole heart out to him. And he's like so vulnerable. He says, "I miss my brother so much. I have all this guilt in my life." And he like pours his heart out to him for like an hour. And he says like, "No, you can't use that. How do I know you're not the police?" Like he gets super paranoid with him, and he like kicks him out of his room. But he was basically having like a trip because he's mentioning his brother like he's in the room. He's
so kind of like
he's like tripping out.
So kind of like the house party scene.
Yeah. And he goes, but I thought it was interesting because like Cameron Crowe felt like, he was inspired to write music, and he had a lot of sadness and guilt, and like he had emotions in the songs, but like his songs directly, the words didn't exactly mean anything, but his emotions were poured into them so much that when other people listened to them and loved them, they could feel the emotion in it, and they could connect to it because they also had all these emotions of sadness and guilt and despair maybe, but it wasn't like the words that had a message. It's just like the general feeling of the music that delivers to you,
right?
And that's rock and roll. I think that's more what rock and roll is. It's a general feeling that the audience and the band can feel together.
Yeah, and even if just the band knows it, and you pour your heart out on the stage, the audience is gonna feel that. You know, feel your emotion, and they're gonna, like you said, attach that to some part of their life.
And it's not really the words though. You know, it's more just the general. And is it through the sound waves? I don't know. Whatever, but that's how I think. A little bit closer to Seymour Hoffman would be right than Jason Lee.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but to each to their own, though. You know, you never know what is going to hit someone in the right time of their life.
The Beatles are famous for saying that, like Yellow Submarine, all their big songs are just like hallucinations that they get off drugs. You know, and they don't really mean anything. They're just like things they saw in their
good music, you know,
their crazy minds, but.
Kaleidoscope eyes.
Same with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, same thing.
I mean, not so much hallucinations, but you know, fantasies.
Yeah, and they're not really like
riding on a dragon.
It's not exactly poetry, but it's like a cool way to communicate emotions, I guess. Like country music, my favorite genre, much different. How they're communicating emotions, not really through music, it's through words.
For sure.
And the music accompanies the words.
Yeah. Sometimes mainstream country is really, really just the same though.
That's true.
Mainstream country.
I'm talking
dirt, truck, dirt, beer.
That's trying to relate to the audience. Like we're the same, bro.
Yeah, but that's just not like Florida Georgia Line. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Kill me.
That's I'm on board with you there.
And what's the other guy? The guy that's on the American Idol. Luke Bryan.
Oh yeah, Luke Bryan.
I can't deal with that guy. I literally can't deal with his music.
He had one good album in 2006, his first one.
Wow.
Taylor Swift, though, on the other hand, whew.
Yeah,
she's the best.
She knows how to do it. I will say this movie got me very excited to see some bands.
Yes.
Like I am hyped. But that's the thing. Like, at what level do you start to like get like a real following and like a real like groupies and like stuff like that?
That's what I'm saying. Like we're
watching that shit happen, bro.
We are the closest thing to groupies that these bands have.
That's so good.
It's really crazy because we go and they're like,
but hey,
shout out JC, he's at every show.
Bro, that shit happened last time.
Like
on Amen Fair, it was like, hey, shout out Jason Amwell. They come to all the Raleigh shows or some shit like that.
Are y'all more like the groupies, or are you like Jay Baruchel?
Jay Baruchel for sure.
No, well, see,
but we're not like fanning. We're not.
Generally, what I like is, like I said, there's not much of an audience or people pumping out that music that I like, and they are attempting to, and it's music that I can listen to and that I would add to my playlist, and for that it's respect to them and I'll go support them. Plus, seeing live music is 10 times better.
Bro, and like if you're already homies with them, it's like
yeah,
you got support the homies,
which is more of you than me. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Next provocative question, I guess, is it emasculating to follow bands around to go to all their shows?
We're not following them. JC
I know you're not following
JC
them.
follows more than I do.
I definitely follow more than you do. Just because, like, I don't know. I just want to.
Well, you've been into an insane amount of concerts, so that's just like a hobby of yours.
Yeah, I still have I'm still working on my list, man. I just want to keep that shit growing. You gotta scroll on my damn.
I'm single digits, dude. So,
brother.
I would love going to the
up.
concerts even more if they played different music. And I know as a smaller band, very hard to record, very hard to pump out.
And you don't. They probably. I don't know these bands that we're talking about, but they probably have a thing like we don't want to be a cover band. Like this.
Well, a lot of them do play covers.
Yeah, but like the idea of like a cover band is like I feel like it's despised among little bands because
that's like
we don't want to be those cheapskates that just like
that's like rally. That's like rally bands are all like from what I've seen. They just they'll go play the Beatles, they'll go play like some 80s stuff and some 90s stuff, and they'll just call it a day, and then have like a white.
They feel like it's a cheap way out problem.
This is an original.
Yeah, like one song.
Yeah,
but nobody wants to hear that, so it feels like it's a cheap way out to play other people's music.
Bro, there was a time that I was watching a rally band, and like they were playing, like they played their original song, right, and then an hour goes by, they're just playing their stuff, and like the crowd had gotten significantly larger, and then they said, we're gonna play our original song again because not all you guys got to hear it.
Yeah,
and then they played their original song for a second time. Yeah. I was like, dude, come on, like just.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyway.
Shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh, and I mean, these guys are in college. They're not the only thing on their mind is music.
Yeah.
They got the pressures nowadays for sure of getting a job, having a career. Back in the 70s, you can get away with running away and going on tour with a band.
You're good.
They can't track you.
You could be okay for a while.
Government get you.
Yeah.
They know where you are at all times.
You didn't have to pay your taxes in the 70s. Yeah. You were good.
another thing that I noticed about Stillwater, which I find is a huge problem with like the smaller bands that we watch, is their stage performance. Like you got to get the crowd involved somehow. Mm-hmm. And you saw Jason Lee when he wasn't singing, bang the microphone out into the crowd.
Yeah.
Or walk around. A lot of people that we watch just stand still, stand in one place, and then just tap their foot. You have to put on for the crowd, especially when you have a small following. You have to be able to, if someone's there that's never seen you, you have to wow them. Like, who are these guys?
Mm-hmm. Control the stage.
Like,
tough thing.
I mean, Batehaven is the best example of that.
Fun.
The best example of that.
They're fun to watch.
It's usually the same thing with like stand-up comedians. If they just stand in one place and they don't own that stage, you don't even want to watch them.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling. It's like you're not funny because you have no presence.
Yeah. Shall we wrap it up? Any final thoughts?
I feel good about what I've said. I really think that, I don't know. I think that I haven't seen this movie since I was young, and so watching this now kind of gave me a new respect for it. And I don't think I'd ever seen the full director's cut or the extended version, whatever it was.
I'm really glad that we all watched that.
Yeah, I'm glad that we all got the same version and everything. So yeah, because
I wanted more of it.
This was a good pick. Well, this was a really good one.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I was just thinking. Whenever I picked it, I didn't think that you've seen it.
Me?
Yeah, and I knew that Nate saw it a while ago, and I'm sure that your music taste has developed a little bit since then.
Yeah.
Not saying that it was.
No, I was definitely, because now this time I was like, pretty much every band that's a real band, I was like, oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, and I'm just in a time of my life where, high school, middle school, it's like I was in the rap scene, like
for sure.
Now I still listen to a little bit of rap, more of like old school, but now like I'm trying to find older bands that I like, because there's so much that's in the past that's not being replicated now, like and being mainstreamed now. So I'm trying to find what I really like, and I found a little bit of it, you know, in Hendrix, Rush, the Ramones, and I'm looking for more. So this was like open new doors. Like I'm interested to listening in the Who, and I listened to the Guess Who, and I haven't listened to the Doors at all. It opened doors to open my eyes a little more to like other potential bands I could listen to. It basically just hit me in the perfect time of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also a cool moment in the movie where someone, like the Allman Brothers were around, and somebody in Stillwater said something about, like, go tell that to Dick or whatever. I was like, oh, he's talking about Richard Betts. And I knew one of the Allman Brothers, like, because Richard Betts went by Dick.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, that's cool.
Whenever they're walking through, whenever you first walk through a Wright house and there's like a musician in every room, I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
That's got to be someone.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like all those hotels.
Yeah. Dude, it's just a different time.
Yeah. There's like all these fans, fans in the lobby. Like,
it's not like that now. Security guards, you know, and like we said,
Airbnb.
Well, and the psychos in the world that we were talking about.
Yeah, they'll kill them. Yeah. Yeah.
World was a better
different
place.
Times, dude.
World was
different
a better place.
times.
Old heads were always right.
It's the theme of today. So, what are scores all around? Mine was a 4. I think 4 the first time around because it felt underdeveloped a little bit for me with how many characters there were. Because Penny Lane was the main one. And
you gotta go back and watch it. Like,
right, exactly. And Penny Lane was the main one. I knew Palexia, I knew Russell, and I knew BB.
Palexia.
But I didn't know anything about the other 2 band members except that he was gay. But then in the second one, you see a little bit more of them, and then you really understand that they're uninvolved and like they're just really in the background. So first watch 4, second watch 4.5. I really do like this film. It's right up my alley. And if I watch it again, it can go back down to a 4. You know, just right now, that's the type of movie I want to see.
Yeah.
It's just an experience that I can't personally live.
It's true.
Never be able to live, and that's like the closest thing I can get to it.
I'm comfortable with a 4. I think that, like, obviously, like, it's just a movie that, like, my parents had on DVD since I was, like, really, really young. So it's like we'd be eating dinner, like, or I'd walk downstairs and my parents are on the couch watching that. Or, like, I would, like, accidentally turn the remote to CD, you know, or DVD or whatever, and it'll be on. It's just like, it's just something that, I don't know, that I've seen, like, throughout my childhood. So it was like, I recognized part after part after part, but I'm sure that if I were to see it, like, for the first time now, I'll be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm comfortable with a 4. I think a 4 is good.
Yeah, nostalgia can be good and can be bad.
Because like if you've seen it, you can't like appreciate it fully. Like that's the thing. Like another thing with music, like if you could listen to that song again for the first time instead of listening to it over and over and over and over and over again. Because I don't know if you guys do that. I do that all the time.
Like that.
I do that all the time. Like I will listen to it nonstop.
I'm the opposite. If I like a song, I'll skip it
because
I don't want to ruin it for me.
Yeah, I destroy my.
You told me that, and I should try to start doing that. There's a bunch of songs like that.
Yeah.
But,
score.
First time I saw IMDb had it at a 7.9, and I said, you know what, that is the perfect score. I gave it 7.9 out of 10. And now I think that's a little too low. I'd probably give it a comfortable 8. I speak in 10s, y'all speak in 5s.
Right.
But I'd give it a comfortable 8. Like it's, if I would put a decimal on it, probably 8.4, 8.5.
It's another one of those movies that you can, like you said, put on at any point of it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I was telling Allie last night, after we watched it, I was like, I think I have a thing for like late 60s, early 70s movies. Like
1976 is my favorite year. It's all the movies from 76, the music from 76. That's when Dazed and Confused was. So it's just like a legendary year. Like that, the mid 70s, like 73 in this movie, 76, Dazed and Confused. That whole time period was crazy.
That's the thing. In like 30 years, people are gonna be like, "Oh,
I hope they talk about
the
it.
2020s, man.
I hope that'd be awesome.
The 2020s. That was the time to be alive."
I hope we're not
also
forgotten.
crazy. In the graduation speech of 72, he's like, in 10 years when there's flying cars. 10 years.
The Jetsons, bro. They got everybody thinking there's gonna be flying cars. But I think this makes us our highest rated movie.
Yeah, it has
collectively.
to be. Has to be.
9, 8, 8.
4.5.
Yeah. Because we've had all 8s before, but we've not had a 9.
I'm also biased just because
You're not biased. 9's a fine
I love
score.
Russell, I love Penny, I love William.
So you
love
said Penny's the main
Jason.
character? I never saw Penny as the main character.
Russell is or William?
I always saw Russell, bro. Maybe William.
Penny is a connector. She's like, there's no other character without Penny.
It's true. But maybe the story starts with William and ends with William.
William got in there without Penny. He started his adventure.
No, I'm not
without her.
saying that, but he's not interesting without Penny. Russell's not interesting without Penny.
Yeah, that's true.
The band's not interesting without Penny.
He doesn't get in with Stillwater without Penny, so yeah.
Yes, he did.
Well,
No, he got into the show, but he said, "Hey,
Oh,
bring
that's
Penny
true.
to California.
yeah.
Oh, that's true. Hey, you guys should come up to LA.
Tell her just like that."
What was
Oh,
it?
that handshake scene
The names under Harry Houdini.
Yeah.
What handshake scene?
where he's like, "Did I know you?" You brush your hair out of the way.
Like, hey, Russell,
Oh.
this is Penny Lane.
Yes.
And they sit there and like.
That's just
face fuck each other.
exactly how I would act if I was in love with someone and
Did somebody introduce you to him?
yeah, and or like I haven't seen him for 5-6 months.
Yeah.
And like I've been waiting, thinking about them ever since. I'd be nervous. I'd be like trying to play it cool. But at the end of the day, like you're rekindling that connection almost instantly. Very interesting movie. A lot to think about to me.
Absolutely.
I love thinking about, like I said, you don't like Lost in Translation as much as me, but
I
like
haven't seen that.
the thought that might be one of my next movies because the thought of like even when you're married, I never want to cheat,
Ugh.
but when you're married and you just happen to meet someone and like and not just like the freshness of someone new, but like meeting someone and knowing that like wow, I've never felt this way with my wife, like just like Lost in Translation. It's like at what point in your life do you say I want to be happier than I am right now and go with this person? Then I'll just stay with my wife and live a subpar life. Because those feelings.
Is that what Lost in Translation is about?
Technically, yeah.
It's like a tragedy love story movie.
I
Will loved it. I thought it was very average.
Dude, the entire movie is lost in translation. All the communication in the movie is lost in translation. Your feelings translated to your brain, translated through your mouth.
I'll rewatch it again.
That might be my next movie. So Nate, you don't know
That you don't know.
What?
what
What's your
movie?
next movie gonna be?
No, I don't. I have a list, but I have yet to pick.
Dude,
Alright,
we gotta
just make it.
figure out how we're gonna do this over summer.
I'll be up here.
Yeah.
We might have to do
Based
two.
on?
We might have to do 2 episodes at a time.
Frick. You might have to.
Kill me.
Hey, man.
Bro,
It's a joke.
just leave if you want. All right, thanks for watching. If you're here, you're crazy.
You're a real one.
You're crazy.
Because we're almost famous.
How deep are we in?